Hello, friends. Today, I want to tell you one of the most inspiring life stories in the world, the story of Oprah Winfrey. You may know her as a famous TV host, a billionaire, or a powerful businesswoman. But her life was not always full of success. She was born into poverty. She faced pain, abuse, and discrimination. Many people expected her to fail, but Oprah chose a different path. She worked hard, believed in herself, and built a life beyond her wildest dreams. In this series, we will walk together through her life, from a small house in Mississippi to the world stage. You will hear about her struggles, her victories, and the lessons she learned. This is not just a story about Oprah. It's a story about never giving up. So, let's begin our journey. Oprah Gayle Winfrey was born on January 29, 1954, in a small town called Kosciuszko, in the state of Mississippi, USA. She was born to a teenage mother, Vernita Lee, who was only 18 years old, and a father, Vernon Winfrey, who was serving in the army at the time. Her parents were not married, and they separated soon after Oprah was born. From the very beginning, life was not easy for Oprah. She lived in deep poverty. Her family did not have running water or electricity in the small wooden house where she stayed with her grandmother, Hattie Mae Lee. Her grandmother raised her for the first 6 years of her life. Hattie Mae was a strict but loving woman. She taught Oprah to read when she was only 3 years old. While other children were still learning the alphabet, Oprah was reading the Bible aloud at church. People in the community were amazed. But life with her grandmother was not always happy. Hattie Mae believed in discipline, and sometimes she punished Oprah harshly for small mistakes. Still, Oprah later said that her grandmother gave her two important gifts: the love of reading and the belief that words have power. When Oprah was 6 years old, her mother, Vernita, took her to live in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Vernita worked as a housemaid, cleaning other people's homes. She did not have much time to care for Oprah, so the little girl spent a lot of time alone or with relatives. Milwaukee was very different from Mississippi. It was a busy city, full of noise and strangers. Oprah felt lonely and lost. The warm country life with her grandmother was gone, replaced by the cold and crowded city. During this time, Oprah faced some very painful experiences. In later years, she revealed that she was abused by relatives and family friends when she was just a child. These were dark, confusing years for her. She felt shame and fear, but she kept her pain a secret. Despite all this, Oprah loved school. She was a bright and talkative student. Her teachers noticed her talent for speaking and storytelling. When she was only in kindergarten, she stood up in front of the class and gave speeches. At the age of 9, she started reading books far above her grade level. Stories became her escape from reality. When life at home was hard, books gave her hope and took her to other worlds. By the time she turned 12, Oprah had already lived in several different homes and had experienced more hardship than most children her age. But these early struggles shaped her. They gave her empathy, strength, and a deep desire to prove herself. This was only the beginning of her journey. Soon she would move again, and this time her life would start to change. When Oprah was 13 years old, her life reached a breaking point. The problems at home became too heavy for her to carry. She often argued with her mother and felt trapped. One day, after a fight, she decided to run away. The police found her and sent her to a juvenile detention center. but the center was full, so she was sent back home. Vernita, her mother, decided she could no longer manage her. She sent Oprah to live with her father, Vernon Winfrey, in Nashville, Tennessee. This move changed Oprah's life. Her father was strict, but he cared deeply about education. He made her read a book every week and write a report about it. He gave her rules, structure, and guidance. For the first time in years, Oprah felt safe. She had her own bedroom, a steady routine, and someone who believed in her potential. At East Nashville High School, Oprah quickly stood out. She joined the school's speech team and began winning awards for public speaking. She had a natural presence. When she spoke, people listened. In 1971, at the age of 17, Oprah entered a beauty pageant, the Miss Black Tennessee contest. She didn't just win the crown. She also caught the attention of a local radio station, WVOL. They offered her a part-time job reading the news on the radio. This was Oprah's first real step into the world of media. She sat behind a microphone, speaking to thousands of listeners. Her warm, emotional voice made people feel connected to her. She didn't just read the news, she made it human. Oprah was still in high school, but she was already earning money and building skills that would shape her future. Soon after, she won a scholarship to Tennessee State University, where she studied communication. But her career was moving faster than her education. By her second year at university, she was offered a job as a television news anchor at WLAC-TV in Nashville. It was the early 1970s, and Oprah became one of the youngest and the first African-American female news anchors in the city. It was an incredible achievement for someone who just a few years earlier had been living in poverty and pain. However, this was only the beginning. Her unique style, her empathy, and her willingness to connect with people would soon lead her to something even bigger, the world of talk shows. By the mid-1970s, Oprah Winfrey had already broken barriers in Nashville as a young African-American female news anchor. But she wanted more. She wanted to tell stories, connect with people, and speak from the heart, something that the serious news format didn't always allow. In 1976, when Oprah was 22 years old, she received a new opportunity, a job as a co-anchor on the evening news for WJZ-TV in Baltimore, Maryland. She accepted it, excited to work in a bigger city. However, the job was not easy. Oprah's style was warm and emotional, but the station wanted a more formal, detached tone. She sometimes became too involved in the stories, even tearing up when reporting sad news. Management didn't like that. After several months, she was removed from the anchor desk. But this setback turned out to be a blessing in disguise. Instead of firing her, the station moved her to a morning talk show called People Are Talking. This show was about conversations, interviews, and real human experiences. From the very first episode, Oprah knew she had found her place. She wasn't just reading a script. She was talking to people, asking deep questions, and listening with genuine care. Viewers loved her warmth, her laughter, and her honesty. The show's popularity grew, and Oprah became a local star in Baltimore. For 7 years, she hosted People Are Talking, sharpening her skills as an interviewer. She learned how to make guests feel comfortable, how to ask the right questions, and how to share personal stories without losing professionalism. In 1983, another life-changing opportunity came her way. A television station in Chicago, Illinois, was looking for a new host for a struggling morning talk show called AN Chicago. Oprah decided to take the risk and move to Chicago. When she arrived in January 1984, AM Chicago was last in the ratings. But within months of Oprah taking over, the show jumped to #1. Her style was different from other hosts. She didn't act superior. She didn't hide her emotions. She laughed, cried, and connected with the audience as if they were friends sitting in her living room. Her success in Chicago caught the attention of TV producers nationwide. One of them, Roger Ebert, even suggested that she sign a syndication deal to take her show to the entire country. In 1986, AM Chicago was renamed The Oprah Winfrey Show, and the journey to becoming a household name in America officially began. In September 1986, The Oprah Winfrey Show began its first season in national syndication. At the time, most talk shows followed a similar pattern: light topics, celebrity gossip, or scripted conversations. Oprah changed everything. From the very first episodes, she brought a new kind of honesty to daytime television. She talked about serious issues: poverty, racism, abuse, relationships, and health. She also included light and joyful moments, surprise reunions, inspiring success stories, and fun celebrity interviews. Audiences across America felt something different. Oprah didn't pretend to be perfect. She shared her own struggles, from her difficult childhood to her battles with weight and self-esteem. She spoke with emotion and without shame, and this made millions of viewers trust her. By the end of its first year, The Oprah Winfrey Show was the #1 talk show in America. It stayed in that position for 25 years. Oprah became more than just a TV host. She became a cultural force. When she recommended a book, it became a bestseller. When she introduced a new idea, millions of people discussed it. And when she supported a cause, donations and awareness skyrocketed. One of her most famous moments came in 2004 when she surprised every member of her studio audience with a brand new car, shouting the now famous line, "You get a car, you get a car, everybody gets a car." But the Oprah Winfrey Show was not just about fun surprises. Oprah used her platform to encourage education, promote self-improvement, and highlight social issues. She started Oprah's Book Club in 1996, inspiring millions to read and discuss literature. She also interviewed world leaders, including Nelson Mandela and Barack Obama. As the years went on, Oprah built a media empire. She launched her own production company, Harpo Productions, Oprah spelled backwards, giving her full creative control over her show and other projects. She also acted in films, including The Color Purple, 1985, which earned her an Academy Award nomination. By the 2000s, Oprah was one of the most influential women in the world and one of the wealthiest. But she never forgot her mission: to help people live their best lives. In 2011, after 25 seasons, Oprah decided to end The Oprah Winfrey Show. She told her audience that it was time for a new chapter. But the end of the show was not the end of her influence. In many ways, it was the start of something bigger. When The Oprah Winfrey Show ended in 2011, many people wondered, what will Oprah do next? The answer: she was just getting started. In January 2011, Oprah launched her own television network called OWN, the Oprah Winfrey Network. It was a bold and risky move. Running an entire network was far more complicated than hosting a single talk show. In the early years, OWN struggled with low ratings and financial losses. But Oprah didn't give up. She changed the programming, focused on inspiring and empowering content. and slowly built a loyal audience. Shows like Super Soul Sunday brought deep conversations about life, spirituality, and personal growth to millions of viewers. OWN also produced dramas and reality shows that reflected Oprah's values. At the same time, Oprah expanded her work in philanthropy, charity. She had always given back, but now she made it a central part of her life. One of her most famous projects was the Oprah Winfrey Leadership Academy for Girls in South Africa, which opened in 2007. This school provided high-quality education to girls from disadvantaged backgrounds, giving them a chance to change their futures. Oprah also donated hundreds of millions of dollars to educational programs, scholarships, and community projects. She became known not only as a media giant, but also as one of the most generous philanthropists in the world. Her influence continued to grow beyond television. She appeared in films like The Butler, 2013, and A Wrinkle in Time, 2018. She interviewed celebrities and world leaders for special events, including a widely watched conversation with Prince Harry and Meghan Markle in 2021. In 2013, she received the Presidential Medal of Freedom from President Barack Obama, one of the highest honors in the United States. Even today, Oprah uses her voice to promote kindness, self-improvement, and equality. She has inspired millions of people to believe in themselves, to read more, to take care of their health, and to dream bigger than they ever thought possible. From a poor girl in rural Mississippi to a billionaire media icon and humanitarian, Oprah's life is proof that your beginnings do not define your destiny. Oprah Winfrey's story is not just the story of one woman's success. It is a story about hope, courage, and the power of believing in yourself. She was born into poverty, faced abuse and hardship, and grew up in an environment where success seemed impossible. But instead of letting her past define her, Oprah used it as fuel to move forward. From her grandmother's small house in Mississippi, to the radio studios of Nashville, to the television stages of Chicago, and finally, to a position of global influence, Oprah never stopped learning, growing, and helping others. Her journey teaches us, your past does not decide your future. Kindness and empathy are powerful. Hard work, discipline, and self-belief can open doors you never imagined. When you lift others, you lift yourself. Today, Oprah is more than a TV legend. She is a symbol of resilience, generosity, and authenticity. Her life reminds us that no dream is too big if you are willing to work for it and stay true to yourself. And that, my friends, is the incredible life story of Oprah Winfrey. From a little girl with nothing to one of the most powerful and loved women in the world. If you enjoyed this story, give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe for more inspiring stories in simple English. And tell me in the comments, what part of Oprah's journey inspired you the most? Remember, your story is still being written, so dream big and never give up.